What's up everyone, my name is Michael and welcome to another episode. Today it is gonna be about this little thing, which is the Hover X1. So, as you might have noticed from this channel, I like to ride my bicycle. And I also like to film myself or to film my friends that are riding with me. And for that, a couple years ago, I purchased a drone. And I wanted something that's very light, that I don't need to register, that I can fit in my back pocket. And because of that, I bought this DJI Mini 2 drone, which you can nicely fold up to quite a small form factor. You can easily fit it in your back pocket. You can also open up the wings like this, and yeah, it shoots 4K. I mean, it shoots amazing content, especially for that size and for that price. The downside with this, though, even though it is so compact, it also comes with a remote control, which is this size. And yeah, as you see, the size of the remote is even bigger than the drone itself. So now when I was out on the bike, I needed to pack the drone in the back and I needed to pack the remote control in the back as well. And suddenly, yeah, it looks quite packed around your back pocket area. Another downside was that in comparison to some other higher priced DJI drones, which have a function that allow them to automatically follow you without the need of a remote control. Unfortunately, this drone doesn't really have this feature. I've been told that this is because it doesn't have sensors on the back and all over the place like the more expensive drones. So in theory, while it's following you, it could potentially not notice an obstacle and just fly into something, or even worse, into somebody. So yeah, even though I had this drone, I was shooting some nice footage with it when I was in Mallorca, so I'm gonna add a link to my Mallorca video right here somewhere, if you're interested in that footage or in that kind of scenic video. But yeah, that was pretty much it. So even though I had it on this rather epic cycling vacation, I only took it out to take shots of the scenery, because most of the time I was riding solo, and yeah, I wasn't been able to film myself with a drone. So in the end, I ended up only taking it out once or twice, and then I learned or realized that I'm actually not going to film myself with it. So yeah, it was stuck here yeah, in my cupboard and not being used for months now. So some time ago, I don't know if it was on Instagram or on YouTube, I've seen some advertisement for a small pocket drone that you could also fold up. It's light, so you don't need to register it, and it can autonomously follow you. Then I followed that advertisement and it landed me on an Indiegogo campaign. I kind of have mixed feelings with Indiegogo because I pledged already for some stuff that then arrived either super late or the product wasn't really as expected. But yeah, the need or want for that kind of product was really big, so I pledged for it. And then yeah, it took a little bit of time, but finally, as you've seen in the intro, the drone is here with me. And yeah, I would say let's quickly talk about it. So this drone, together with the battery, weighs around 128 grams, so it's super light. As you see, let me get you close. As you see, it has this foldable design, so now it looks like a book, and you can also open it like a book. And yeah, this is the way you're starting it. The really interesting thing about it is it doesn't come with a remote. I think it doesn't even have a remote. I wasn't at least able to buy an accessory remote with it, which is absolutely not a problem with me, because I rather prefer not having a remote. And initially I was thinking that maybe it's something that I can just control with my phone, and basically using my phone as a remote control, which also works, but it is actually even better than that. You have at the very top, let me show you. So when you turn on the drone, you have a little power button here. You turn on the drone, it shows you how much battery you've left. Batteries are also replaceable, so you can order more batteries. And then you have this little half circle here where you can define what kind of, beautiful startup sound, where you can define what kind of mode you want to be in. So the first one is just a hover mode. So the drone is basically just hovering around, staying in the same position and just following you. So when you're walking around, it is following you, but it's not moving forward or backward, it is just rotating. Then there's the second mode, which is, I don't know how it's officially called, I'll just call it fly away. So you start up the drone, it flies away, films you, and then it comes back to you, films you again, I think in a separate clip. Then there is the next mode, which is follow, which is very interesting. So you can basically just start the drone behind you and then walk or ride a bike, and it's going to follow you as well. I'm going to show you some examples in a bit. Then there is the spiral, or whatever you want to call it, the orbit, where you start the drone and it just does a 360 around you and then comes back again. Then there is the rocket, let's call it the rocket, where the drone basically just flies up, films you while flying up, and then I think does actually it does a cut and does a second clip and does the same thing, filming you when it's coming down. And then there is a custom mode. There is basically, I think, 2 additional modes that you can configure in the app. I configured it as the so-called dolly shot. It's very similar to the follow, so you basically just start the drone in front of you and then the drone is hovering in front of you even while you're walking, keeping more or less the same distance. So we're gonna have a look at those modes real quick now. And as you see, for all of this, it's as easy as really just starting the drone out of the palm of your hand. So let me quickly show you again, even though I guess you've seen this already in the intro. But you've opened up the drone, you've powered it on. It needs to see you in the frame, so you need to be in front of the camera because, of course, it is following you. So it's not going to take off, I think, if you're not in the picture, or if not another person's in the picture, that then it's going to follow. And then you select which mode you want to start it at, and then you just press the power button again, sitting at the palm of your hand. There you go. So now, move out of the picture. There it is. If you wanted to land it, you basically just put your hand underneath the drone. It is stopping the recording and yeah, landing safely. The great thing about it in comparison to the DJI drone is, as you see here, you have the propellers quite unprotected, even though I think there are accessories for the DJI drones as well to protect the propellers a little bit. But here the propellers are in a cage. So I don't know if I'm gonna keep that intro, but I definitely shot one intro that I'm gonna punch in right now. What's up everyone, my name is Michael. Welcome to another episode. Today is gonna be about this beautiful Hover X1 drone. Let's see what it can do. And it just landed. Where you see that the drone basically flew against the lens, but as yeah, all the propellers are protected in the cage, it basically just bounced off and then noticed that something is not right, so it landed slowly and safely on the floor, which I think is quite great. Another upside is that you can also control it with your phone. Of course, if you want to use a remote controller, there is the app that comes with it as well, where you can also just control it like a regular drone, where you can like steer it left, right, up, down, and so on and so forth. But even if you're not wanting to control it manually, you can use your phone being connected via Wi-Fi to the drone as a microphone. So you can pretty much film yourself with the drone following you around, and then you just use the microphone of your phone talking into it, and it's automatically being synced up into the file when you download it. So of course you might think that it's maybe not so useful to record audio while the drone is so close by, like just right now what I showed you. They have a noise cancelling algorithm in their app, so you actually don't hear all the humming from the drone itself. You're supposed to just hear the audio of your voice. And yeah, I had a little bit of an issue with that. Okay, so let me just try out the microphone, the microphone connections from the drone to my mobile phone. So now it's supposed to be recording from the microphone on my mobile phone. So yeah, it could be that the problem is rather the microphone of my Pixel 7, that this is why it sounded kind of odd, maybe because it was slightly windy, but yeah, just wanted to like have some expectation management here in case you're thinking that you're just going to connect your phone, everything's going to sound like you're coming or you're walking or recording it in a studio. That's definitely not the case. But I didn't want to give up there. I still have my DJI mics that I'm using right now, my wireless DJI mics. And there is a USB-C plug for the receiver that I was able to plug into my phone. And yeah, I wanted to test how audio recording is working with that kind of setup. So here's the clip using the DJI mic. So yeah, in yesterday's footage I noticed that when I was recording the audio from my phone, directly from the microphone that's coming from my Pixel 7, it didn't really sound that great. So now I tried to connect the DJI wireless mic to it, and yeah, just to see and compare how it's going to sound. So yeah, what can I say? I think, as you might have noticed from yeah, how I'm speaking about this drone, I'm actually quite impressed by this little thing. The only downside that I see is that while this one is recording in 4K, this one is only recording in 2.7K. So you tell me how much of a difference you see in those clips. But there are also softwares out there that are pretty good with upscaling 2.7K material to 4K using some AI magic. So let's see, maybe that's going to be necessary, but maybe you also won't really notice, because I guess most people watch YouTube on their phone. But yeah, if you watch it on a big television, then maybe you're actually going to be able to see a difference. So if you see a difference, definitely let me know in the comments. And yeah, if you do, I'll definitely try to do some test runs in comparison of doing the regular raw 2.7K footage versus an upscaled version of that 2.7K footage up to 4K. So yeah, I think this is the one that I'm definitely going to be taking on pretty much every tour, every cycling tour that I'm going to be doing in the future. So what I'm really interested about now is how this little thing is going to perform during winter season, where we know that during cold temperatures, batteries suffer quite a bit when it comes to performance. Right now, I'm getting around 16 to 18 of those routines out of it, like one of those orbit or rockets or flyaway kind of things. So actually quite impressive for that kind of a small, tiny battery. So yeah, I gotta say, big recommendation for me so far. I mean, of course, I'm just on day 2 right now, but as you might have noticed, I was using it quite extensively so far. And yeah, very impressed on how simple and fun it is to use, and you don't really need to worry about like carrying a remote or flying into things and damaging things that are around you. So yeah, with that, I'm gonna close this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. If you are not subscribing yet, maybe consider subscribing. There's a bunch of interesting bike tech content coming up soon, and another build if yeah, the frame shows up in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, exciting stuff coming up, and yeah, thanks a lot for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.